Hello everybody, welcome back to the Landedkiller show. Today I'll be going over some Waterline as well as some other developments in the game. So we're going to first start with our early access for American battleships because it's not half bad this time around, but you still got your usual random bundles. For me being like broke, I'm not going to be doing these. But I think out of all of the designs for the hybrids, I like the one for the Iowa the most. It just looks the most natural in a sense, you know, it doesn't look like it was off or anything like the other ones do. Oh boy. I think that I'm just going to be doing things the Scribbler way around and grinding. Doing a lot of grinding to get everything. So it'll be a while before I can get any of these. I still think it's ridiculous that they're charging nearly $100 round estimate, or is that just under 100 there for the 20,000 doubloons just to get the tier 10? Tier 10 doesn't look half bad, I suppose. This will be a line that I try to finish. It'll just take some time for me to do it. Would I do the random bundles? No, I really wouldn't. I'd just steer clear and just grind. Like for me, I'm trying to grind towards Nebraska. I won't. I'm gonna be 100% transparent. I did speed this up. I sped it up from, I want to say phase 5 to phase 26 here. That's about all I can do at the moment, but the rest of the way I'm most likely going to be grinding just to get Nebraska here. So when I get to Nebraska here, I'll be featuring it, you know, around in some live streams on the weekends and that sort of a thing. This kind of design in the back reminds me a little bit of Kaga's, a little bit like a mini Kaga looking design here. When I'm looking at it from this angle anyway. It just reminds me of Kaga. Is this design looking out of place? Probably not. Probably not. I think they could have historically built something like this. You still got your battleship guns up front and your deck in the backs. A lot of the proposals for Iowa, for instance, left the guns in the front and then changed the whole back of the ship into carrier space. They just never went through with those ideas because they were cost prohibitive and it was easier to do it on anything like a Cleveland and that sort of thing, you know. But I'm gonna hop into a battle with Yu Yang here. We're gonna Brawls is back. Season ends in 5 days, Brawl ends in 13 hours. I'll have to try that. Without further ado, let's get into Brawl. So the Waterline itself recaps the submarines that entered the game in 11.10. It recaps the Japanese light cruisers. It recaps the super ships. The only ones of note that are newer that are going to be coming here soon are Joshua Humphreys, which is going to be tier 11 for the American destroyer line. I'm just going to call them tier 11s. A super ship no longer really applies anymore. There's too many of these things now for them not to be just called tier 11. And then Kun Ming will be the one for the Pan-Asian destroyer line. Recaps the Halloween, the Velos events, the Battle Pass, the graphics, the New Year's celebrations, Admiral Schroeder Dockyard, Carol Clash. Now let's get into the stuff we got going on now. Right now we got our hybrid battleships here in Nebraska, Delaware, Louisiana. They got a massive squadron that carries HE bombs. Large number of aircraft in each flight will allow you to deal this amount of damage. Quoted directly from the article here. Aircraft do not return to deck after delivering attack. Entire squadron needs to be recovered. British submarines will be in update 12.1, Undyne, Serene, and Thrasher. It does not say anything about Alliance, the premium for them. I'll be looking into that eventually if they drop something on that, because I want to get Alliance, because it reminds me of the submarine from the Transformers Age of Extinction movie, or was it? No, Transformers The Last Night. Events, airship escorts going on. Lunar New Year just wrapped up not too long ago. You still got your sauce and bean containers. It talks about how they're going to bring back the alternate carriers back, the ones that were taken out. They're bring them back in the game with their own lines, pretty much. Which would be interesting to discuss deploying like air screen covers and minefields. So that'll be interesting. They still don't have any confirmed date on that. The domination mode is changing. Pretty much, they're trying to correct short battles or too long battles. There's a separate article on that on the development blog. Global missions will be making an appearance, which I think will probably be tied into some collabs in the future, if I'm correct on that. It's been a good long time since we've had a collab with anybody. The last one was Azure Lane, if I'm correct. Maybe there was one with a smaller anime. I think it was Azure Lane was the last major collab that we had in a while. They're going to overhaul the sound for submarines, aircraft, and for shells. Got our Pan-American cruisers again showing up. They get like combat instructions, which give them greatly reduced reload time on their consumables, which honestly I find to be odd. It seems like these special instructions are going to start becoming features of full-on tech tree lines now, which could be good or bad depending, but you got to keep in mind that it gives them an advantage over the ships that don't have these combat instructions. So if you sit there and play the, like Des Moines, like just normal tier 10 Des Moines, that's going to be outclassed by the ships potentially. At least when it comes to consumable reload times, I still think Des Moines would be able to take these guys out. It's the Spanish cruisers that have me concerned more than anything with their mechanic of burst fire. We're going to have European destroyers come in the game. Looks like their gimmick will be... Let's see here. I gotta focus here for a minute on the battle. I do apologize for just not having a lot of videos out in a while. It's just been crazy. But I do appreciate all of you that tune in to watch the videos. Okay. So it looks like with European destroyers, 6 ships will be added. Oh, we just sunk them. Good. Branch is still in development. The concept artillery destroyers equipped with smoke generator are tier 8 to tier 10 low access surveillance radar. All ships have engine boosts. Their guns can inflict good damage. Flat shell ballistics. Torpedoes of the branch are fast, but their number per salvo is small. Compared to first branch of European destroyers, inflict higher damage but have a short range. They also have narrow and wide spreads. Signed from tier 7. Ships are fast. From tier 8, they enjoy large HP. However, their AAs are not the strongest. Their concealment is mediocre. Ooh, that's not good. Usually their great is their good, and their bad usually means worse. So, I don't know about that. So they're gonna have. This is probably gonna be far off toward probably May, June-ish kind of a deal. Spanish cruisers, they're going to have the burst fire. They're going to start from 120 millimeter caliber to 254 millimeter caliber at tier 10. But they're going to be able to have burst fire. So if you remember the super ships, you know, like Zorky, that sort of a deal, Annapolis, that same feature, they're going to have it in a whole line of Spanish cruisers. I really think that this is really going to upset the balance in the game. I really think that our developers have forgotten that there needs to be a balance to any game mechanics you introduce, and having a whole line of cruisers from tier, doesn't say what tier they'll start at, but going off the 120 millimeter caliber, I would say they're at least starting from tier 4. Let's imagine tier 4, this mechanic at tier 4. Any ship that doesn't have this could be taken out pretty fast by those AP shells, perhaps, if they hit at just the right point. I would really encourage Wargaming not to continue to make ships like this, but they're still going to do it anyway despite what I say. Just like when I said, hey, the economic separation of camos was a bad idea. They still did it anyway. They have a habit of just not listening to the players. I'm not sure when it'll catch up to them, but it will eventually. Going on, we have 2 new super ships. Novosibirsk, which will be the tier 11 for the Petropavlovsk line, and then Devastation, which will be the tier 11 for the Conqueror line. And they're introducing a hybrid destroyer called Halford. Primary feature will be availability of aircraft catapult. She will be the first hybrid destroyer in our game. And that tells you right there that hybrid submarines are not going to be that far off. They're already doing hybrid destroyers. Usually premiums are test beds for future lines in some cases. Not in all cases, but in some cases. So this could be a test of a future line for the American tech tree, if it goes well. West Virginia 1944 is finally going to be actually out in the game in 2023. Closed testing in spring, which means probably a summer release if everything goes well. Admiral Schroeder will be finished up. Dice will be the next dockyard. Fast battleship with powerful artillery and torpedoes. Kind of like a mini Heisen in a way. Inherited a number of archaic features, including placement of secondaries and casemates, notable for accurate main battery, but number of guns is small. Armament includes torpedo launch for long-range torpedoes that inflict massive damage. The battleship is very fast, but has large turn circle radius. They're working on a way to allow you to continue to go into battles with your already used ship, so if your ship's destroyed, you'll be able to go into battle and vice versa. That should be interesting. Okay, there's going to be an April Fool's Day mode this year again. I said it was going to be like a classic one, so we don't know if it's going to be space battles or the bathtub mode. I never got to play the bathtub mode April Fool's, so if that comes back, that would be nice. Oh, look at that! I finished out the game just like that. They're going to have the Shelley sea map in the game. Eventually, map will be on live server in spring. There's going to be recommended equipment option added to the game. There's going to be changes to notifications and settings. Notifications reports will be updated. More structured and informative. Settings updated. Settings will be stored on server. We'll be able to easily add new settings when necessary, thanks to under the bonnet improvements. Honestly, I think that we're going to see a bunch of power creep this year. Oh, a super container. How did I get one of these? Huh, nice. I'm just saying that we're gonna have a lot of power creep this year because of these. When you got your hybrid battleships now, and then in the future, it's going to be more hybrid ships, along with these special mechanics. Wargame is going to have to tread lightly with how they do this update, with how they continue to do updates in the future, in my opinion. Okay, what do we got here? Do I think that this is a good deal, these early access events? Not really, because they're often really cost prohibitive. Mainly they try to get you with the camouflage and the good looks of the ship. What is this? I feel like there's an effect, like a graphical effect. Is that a graphical bug? Or is that just a reflection? Could be a graphical bug for all we know. But yeah, I expect that we'll see more hybrid ships in the game in the near future. But yeah, it definitely will take time to just get things to the right point, you know what I mean? The balance needs to be restored, and that's going to take some time. I love how there's no bonus packages for the other tiers. You notice that? Only for Nebraska, not for the other tiers. I bet you that's in here somewhere. Yep, they hid it in the random bundles because I know that they could. Yep. Just like I thought. I'm going to say within 5 to 10 years, random nonsense is going to be restricted by some new law. So, who knows? At the moment, I'm just going to enjoy the game. And yes, we do have a Landedkiller War Games channel, which will be used for World of Warplanes, World of Tanks Blitz content. So, yeah. We're still keeping this channel on ships, and that's that. So, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And have a nice day.